Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the TMZ Podcast. I'm Charlie Cotton and joining me today is our clips and clearance lady, Nikki Hendry.
It's your favorite redhead, right?
Yes.
That's what Wild told me today when he was like, you want to do the podcast with Cotton? And I was like, no. And he was like, he requested his favorite redhead.
I did.
Ooh.
Specifically. I love you, Red.
I love you. But you scared me a little bit off the top. You were just telling me how tired you were, and then your whole demeanor changed. And you're like, hello and welcome.
And that's why I just had to do a laugh break.
I'm like Bruce Buffer or something in the UFC ring.
Okay, stories today. Tom Sandoval continues to put his foot in it. My God, this guy just won't shut up. Tiffany Haddish, she did a tone-deaf Instagram live where she's on the plane to Israel, but she says some weird stuff flying into a war zone. I don't know why she had to do it. We got this almost news segment at the end, everyone's favorite segment. So we'll cover a GoFundMe scam. But to begin with, Travis Kelce. He has surfaced after the Kansas City shooting and everything that happened that day. Yeah. He surfaced. He's back in Las Vegas, where they won the Super Bowl, actually. Yeah. He's golfing with some buds.
Yeah, so a shot of Travis on a golf course at the Wynn Golfing Country Club in Las Vegas popped up on social media. So apparently he was with friends there, a couple of good friends of Travis, constantly posting him and documenting the entire trip in Vegas with him.
Right.
So obviously, you know, they hit up a restaurant, Toca Madera, which is really popular in Vegas. And there's a DJ who also put on his story that he was invited to play for Kansas City Chiefs players at an upcoming party on Friday, but also was name dropping Travis and Instagram. So Travis got caught up.
Yeah, I think that everything he's doing now is totally fine. It was just like the day of when he was like partying. But I'm happy with him being back in Vegas and blowing off a little steam. It'd be so fun to be Travis Kelce's friend in Vegas.
Yeah.
You know, just one of his random friends. I bet they're getting play. All the girls probably coming up to the friends.
Oh, for sure. But I will say this, it's still rumblings across, social media and within our newsroom that it's a bad look for Travis.
Even to be there now.
Correct. Because if you remember last week, Patrick Mahomes put up photos of him in the hospital. And there were these two radio hosts who said that Travis Kelce also went to go visit the victims in the hospital.
Right.
There was no photos. There was no anything that came out. And then him and his brother did like a very minuscule, to me, it felt very small sort of statement on the shooting in Kansas City. And Travis Kelce didn't even say much. It was Jason Kelce who was talking majority of the time.
Why are there photos of him, plenty of photos of him partying this past week, but there's no photos of him in
the hospital.
I would have thought that's the sort of like most.
It's definitely PR 101, right?
Right.
If something happens, you're going to want to make your client look the best. And so it's not a good look for him to not.
Yeah. Weird.
It's a very weird situation. It's very weird.
So he probably won't be going to Sydney then. People are still speculating that he'll go to Sydney. Taylor has shows this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Right.
And fans are still going, okay. Like they're actually following her jet still, saying, her jet is headed back to America, but she's staying in Australia. So who's it getting?
Could her jet be coming to pick up Travis Kelce?
That's the speculation, but I think maybe not. It'd be such a bad look.
I don't know. I mean, but that's the thing is from the get-go, he was always going to go and visit her, on tour. That was the whole, narrative that both parties were spinning, was that this relationship is solid, they're real, they're going to make it work in the off season when she's not able to come in for games because he doesn't have any. He's going to go to her shows because now it's her season. You know what I mean? She's in season, he's off season. So it's going to be interesting to see if he does end up there. And it's just, to me, that part doesn't really bother me. He's going to visit his girlfriend. He's going to be with her. You know what I mean? It's all of this stuff in the past week that has led up to him now being back in Vegas just is not good.
He's got to be careful in Vegas too, because bed bugs are running all over that city.
Really?
Oh, yeah. TMZ.com, Nikki.
Well, I remember we did it like a few months ago.
No.
They're back?
A few minutes ago, we posted.
Oh, see, I was in here doing the podcast with you, so.
Bed bugs are back in Vegas and going over to every hotel, eating everyone.
Eating everyone?
Is that what bed bugs do?
They bite you.
Oh. Also, two men now have been arrested in connection with the tragedy at the parade. It's quite shocking because I thought these were boys originally. That's how like cops and media made it sound. But in fact, two of the guys, this guy called Lyndall Mays has admitted to firing the first shots. Allegedly, a different guy, when he fired back, was the one that hit the lady who ended up dying. But it feels like more and more details are emerging, and we've now got, mug shots. It was so like clouded in mystery when it first came out, like who did it and why, but it's slowly unraveling, and we're seeing the full picture.
Yeah, and he's being charged with murder in the second degree, armed criminal action, and an unlawful use of a weapon.
Okay, on to our next story. Tom Sandoval compares the Scandoval to George Floyd and O.J Simpson. This guy.
I can't eye roll enough.
I know. So he was talking with the New York Times, and he said, I'm not a pop culture historian, really, but I witnessed the O.J Simpson thing and the George Floyd thing and all these big things, which is really weird to compare this to that, I think, but I do think in a weird way it's a little bit the same. He says, I feel like I get more hate than Danny Masterson, and he's a convicted rapist. So Danny Masterson is that 70s show guy who was taken down.
Oh.
What is Tom Sandoval doing?
So since that New York Times article, he did apologize yesterday on his Instagram, and he just put up, a little thing. It says, my intentions behind the comments I made in the New York Times Magazine were to explain the level of national media attention my affair received, but the comparison was inappropriate and ignorant, and I'm incredibly sorry and embarrassed. He should have stopped at, it's really weird to compare this to that. So don't.
Yes.
So don't.
He was trying to. It was a massive story, right? It was just the most massive story from a little cheating on a reality show, and it was like it blew up, and it must have surprised him a lot, the amount of attention he got, and especially being at the center of it, he must have thought that the world is talking about this,
right?
Just like the world was talking about George Floyd,
right?
But to compare his little reality show cheating scandal to something huge in American history, like the George Floyd thing or the O.J. Simpson thing, is like just arrogant and I don't know.
It's tone deaf. It's stupid. He's an idiot. I just want him to go away. And like honestly, there's people who are calling for him to get fired. Because if you remember, this kind of sort of comes down to race when you pull in George Floyd because he did get murdered during the BLM. Movement. So. The thing about it is you have, one that comes to mind as a previous Vanderpump person is Jax Taylor. He had said some racial things back in the day, fired immediately from Bravo.
Oh, really?
So why are they waiting for Tom Sandoval? Like he should have been immediately removed for comparing something on that show to a murder, someone being murdered.
Yeah.
And a rapist.
Yeah, very, yes. If I was a Bravo exec listening to the TMZ pod, I'd get rid of him.
Out. And
You're right.
Though the Scandoval thing was probably the biggest thing for them because it kind of led to like another season. There was a lot of talks about their ratings and things like that. And what other storylines can you churn out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Brendan Joffrey, and you've had him on. He is a huge Vanderpump person, talks to all the people in that world. And he was even saying, he was kind of nervous for the next season to come out. And then Scandoval happened. And he was like, immediately, there's another season.
Yes, but will there be another season now? Because I was one of those, like, I tuned in after the Scandoval broke. And my wife actually started from episode 1 of the first season, and she watched she was, like, so engrossed in that story, so she watched the whole thing.
Right.
And so then we watched the last few episodes of the season sort of, like, live or whatever.
Right.
But I have not cared to tune back in. And if I've caught a glimpse of it, I've not been like, meh, like... why is the show still going on now? You had your like highest crescendo. Now Raquel or Rachel or whatever her damn name is not coming back. Right. Tom Sandoval should be booted. And I'm like, do people care to watch him anyway? Like he's just loathsome.
He honestly has like fallen. Like he was like, I don't watch the show, but from what I've heard from like my sister-in-law and stuff, he was like the hottest one, was like, yada, yada, yada. And then he just fell from grace, like
he was like the protagonist and now he's the antagonist, but not even the antagonist that excites me. And I want to like hate watch him. I'm just like, go away.
And I just think it's disgusting when you compare something that happened in reality TV. And yet, granted, it was your life, but you made those choices to do what you did with infidelity. That does not even compare or come anywhere close to O.J. Simpson's murder case, George Floyd's murder case, and as well as Danny Masterson's rape case.
It's called false sense of grandeur. Like, he just thinks that his shit don't stank, and he's just like the biggest thing, and everyone's talking about him. And for a moment there, he was the center of entertainment news. He was the absolute center of it.
Yep.
But that moment is past, and we want to forget about him, I think, now.
And it's kind of gross, too, that, like, you have Raquel, whatever her name is now, on her podcast. Like, everything that he says, she has to go on her podcast and, like, deny what he's saying because she's like, it's gross that he's, like, saying all these things about our relationship and all these things, but that's not how it really happened. So there's definitely, that miscommunication between the two of them. They're definitely not on the same page of what happened. One of them's embellishing it, and I'm pretty sure it's Tom.
Yeah, boot him. I'm happy to, like, get Raquel back on the show. She doesn't anger me that much, She's just like...
She's dumb girl.
She's
a dumb
a
girl
dumb
too,
pretty
but
girl, yeah.
dumb pretty girl, exactly.
Okay, on to our next story. Tiffany Haddish. She has pissed off a lot of people from posting a video in first class or business class on a plane heading to Tel Aviv. It's not so much that she's heading to Israel, it's just some of the stuff she said in the video. Let's listen to a little bit of it now.
On my way to Israel. I'm going to go meet my future man out there. I'm out. I might come back with a little Jewish baby. Who said I wasn't going to Gaza? I said I'm going to go see with my own eyes. Got to go to Israel first.
So there's a war going on. And I mean, some people don't even call it a war because there's not like two sides. It's just Israel trying to, there's a lot of people dying.
No.
And she is proudly posting from business class with her little orange juice or mimosa. Smiling from ear to ear, making jokes about going to find a new man, coming back with a Jewish baby. She talks about maybe I'll go to Gaza. Gaza is Israel, right? It's just like stuff that's so like, have you been watching the news and do you understand how this looks? I saw this clip within 5 minutes of her posting it, and I started screen recording it to send in to TMZ, like maybe we'd do a post about it, because I was sure she was going to take it down. Like, she can't be serious. She must have misspoke constantly during this because it's just such a bad look, and so many people are so upset at so many atrocities happening over there. It's like, you're going over there to educate yourself. Why don't you educate yourself first here?
Yeah.
And then go over there and see it,
Yeah, and I feel like with comedians, they try to use comedy as a relief from, awkward situations, or when they're, in a situation that is not comfortable for them. And they always say, it was a joke. It was a joke, right? Like with, when Dave Chappelle said all of those things about, the LGBTQ community. And so for me, it's like, to a point, she's like smiling, saying, I'm gonna go meet my man there. I'm gonna go meet my man. Okay. That's fine. You can go meet your man wherever you feel you want to go meet your man, right? If you think you're gonna get married. But when she's like, I'm gonna go Gaza because I'm gonna see it with my own eyes. Like, why would you even, it was fine that you were saying you're gonna go meet your man there, make a joke about it, about how because she's always said she wants to, she's thirsty for a man. I mean, she was here, she hosted our Elfin Christmas in December, and she was here and she was talking about how much she wants a man. She's very thirsty for a man.
That's kind of her brand now.
It is. And that's totally fine. But when you start to bring in all of the things that are affecting a large community of people, that's a problem. And she was getting scrutinized, criticized in her comments. There was not one positive comment.
And I'm not sure she can really be going to Gaza. Are they allowing sort of tourists in Gaza?
I don't think so, no.
I don't, anywhere close.
It's very ignorant. It's very dumb for her to even acknowledge that. You could say you're going to Israel because Israel is, it's a larger, place. There's multiple other places you could go that are safe right now. But to put yourself even in that situation, in that narrative, in that, statement, she's a dumb girl.
I think that sometimes it's, it's a good sentiment to be going over somewhere to see something with your own eyes. Her point is that, I see all the media of things happening over in Israel and Palestine, and I don't know what to believe, so I'm going to go over and see it and talk to the people.
I'm going to go over and help.
I mean, it's fine to say that sort of stuff, but it's just laced with so much comedy and smiling, and she's like, in this video, she's talking about how great it is on the plane where she is. She's reclining her seat and smiling and like, I'm going to sleep so well. I'm going to sleep with this, this medication. It's just like you're going to a war zone.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just like have a little bit of calm and I don't know. She's like trying to get canceled or something.
I don't know. It feels very weird. Her actions lately have not lined up with like the person that first came into the scene, the comedy world.
Yeah.
It's just, it feels very weird. I don't know if she's going through something or there's other things behind the scenes with her. We've done stories on, her DUIs and things like that. So clearly she's got some issues going on. And I hope that she figures out that this is, maybe she'll issue you an apology. I don't know if
I don't
we
think
even
so.
care to get an apology from her, to be honest.
I hope she does find a man. Maybe that'd solve everything, Maybe that'd solve everything. People like who are looking for love, do crazy stuff.
They do crazy shit.
Okay, on to our almost news. And this is a good one if you're a 90-Day Fiancé fan.
Which you are.
I am a little bit of a fan, actually. I don't mind it. I actually watched the season these two are in. Their names are Brendan and Mary. So Brendan's an American. Mary is from the Philippines. And they met on some, dating site as you do. And he then went over to the Philippines to meet her. And he's lived with her ever since, in her very remote village in the Philippines.
Okay.
And as part of their narrative, they struggle for money. Like they open up a little shop by the roadside selling, convenience store stuff. But it's in the Philippines in a remote place. So it's like, it's not great. And so they're really struggling for money. Anyway, they started up a GoFundMe, or as it's called over there, Go Get Funding. So they started up this campaign and said that Mary had colon cancer. And they were asking people to donate, and the donations might even save her life, they said. Well, people did some digging, and they noticed that, the story doesn't match up, and there's no proof of anything. Mary and Brendan had shared photos from like a hospital, like kind of claiming almost that that's where she was getting treated for her cancer. But then fans noticed that they're the same sort of photos and they look the same as when she had their baby. So they're hospital photos from when they had their baby.
No, stop it.
So this all came out and Mary and Brendan had to post again saying, just to be clear, we don't know if Mary has colon cancer yet. She just thinks she does.
So then why would you put up a Go Get Funding link for people to donate for it? This is exactly the reason why. First of all, what they're doing is completely wrong, but they're not the first to do it. There's been so many people who have scammed people out of so much money because they say that they're sick with something or whatever. They need money for this, this, and this, and this. That is the reason why I do not contribute to anyone's GoFundMe. If I know you or I know you know someone who you're putting up the GoFundMe for, I'm going to give the money directly to the hospital or something. You know what I mean? No.
It's a big way people get scammed these days.
Yeah.
And Mary and Brendan got $1,300. So, I mean, it was cut off really quickly when fans started to notice that they ended their GoFundMe really quickly. It's unclear if the site ended it or Mary and Brendan ended it. But they've received the $1,300. There's no way to get that money back. There's no refunds allowed. It's through PayPal. So as soon as you click donate, it just goes to, they can receive it in their PayPal.
I hate it. I hate people like this.
Who just scam
And now I don't like them.
But you didn't even know who they were 30 seconds ago.
Didn't even know who, and now I've made my decision. This is their first impression on me. Not a good one.
Does it make you want to watch 90-Day Fiancé?
Kind of, yeah.
You're right.
I want to see who these people are.
It was
it a good one?
This was the first 90-Day Fiancé season I'd watched in a while. I used to be a big fan.
Yeah.
And now this whole season is just this whole one is called 90-Day Fiancé the other way.
Oh.
So usually it's 90-Day Fiancé. It's foreigners coming and living in America. But this time in this season, it was Americans going to live over in other countries.
Oh. Oh my God.
And it's just hilarious. It's mostly about cultural differences, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And families not getting along. And it's just shocking. I mean,
Did you ever watch that show Wife Swap back in the day?
I think I liked that
I
show.
loved that show when it was like
Yeah.
they switched the moms and it was like different parenting styles. It's the exact same thing as 90 Day Fiancé with the cultural differences.
Oh, so
you just
true.
never know what you're walking into.
You got to watch, Nikki.
I'm on Love is Blind right now, so only one reality show at a time.
Love is Blind. Do you think that girl looks like Megan Fox or not?
Oh, should we bring this back up?
Just a yes or no.
I don't, but Wild, who was our podcast producer, actually put a paper up over her mouth and compared it to Megan Fox, and the eyes do look similar.
There you go.
We got to shout him out. He's the
Okay,
best.
we got to wrap it up now. All right. Thank you for joining me today, Red. And we'll see you guys here tomorrow. Goodbye.